Karoline Leavitt sat calmly at the witness table in a busy government room filled with important people. She wore a neat blue suit that looked very professional. Her gaze was focused, and the cameras around the room clicked away, capturing every moment. Just before that, Congressman Adam Schiff, who was sitting across from her, leaned into his microphone and gave her a smile that seemed not very nice. He said, "Miss Leavitt, you are young, and you don't understand how national security works." His words seemed to make people around him think he was showing that Karoline didn't know much about the topic. Everyone in the room got quiet. Reporters typed quickly on their computers, and millions of people were watching on TV. However, Karoline did not get upset. She stayed calm. She was 26 years old, and although she was younger than many of the people in the room, she had worked as an assistant press secretary in the White House under President Trump. She had worked hard and learned a lot. And now, she had something very important to share that would surprise everyone and change the way people thought about her. This meeting was meant to talk about how the country keeps secrets safe, especially important information about national security. However, it had turned into a big debate between politicians from different parties. Karoline knew that the older congressman, Adam Schiff, would try to attack her. He was 62 years old and had worked in politics for many years. He was known for his detailed questioning and had been part of important events like the Trump impeachment hearings. He was good at making moments that people would talk about, and he wanted everyone to think he was serious and knowledgeable about keeping secrets safe. At the same time, Karoline, who was younger, had quickly made a name for herself in politics. Even though she was young and had a pretty appearance that made her look like someone on TV, many people underestimated her. They thought she didn't have enough experience to understand the serious stuff. But what they didn't know was that she was prepared to show them that she was smarter than they thought. The meeting had already been going on for a long time, and things were getting tense. Karoline was sitting at the table with her folder of papers that she knew would help her make her point. Congressman Schiff started questioning her again. He said, "You have talked about how documents were handled in the past. But we all know that there were many mistakes in keeping secrets when your party was in charge, like the issues with the documents at Mar-a-Lago. Do you think we should trust what you say after all that happened?" He wanted to make Karoline look bad by pointing out mistakes from the past, hoping to show she didn't know what she was talking about. But Karoline didn't get mad. She stayed calm and answered him carefully. "Thank you for your question, Congressman Schiff," she said. "I have done a lot of research on how to handle important information, and I have even looked at records of how things were done by your own committee." At that moment, everyone in the room looked surprised. No one expected her to talk about how things were handled by Schiff's committee. Congressman Schiff didn't like where this was going. He quickly told the chairman of the meeting, Mike Granger, to stop Karoline from talking about things from the past. But Karoline wasn't just talking about the past. She was about to reveal something that no one in the room knew about, and it would show that Schiff and his committee had made big mistakes too. "Mr. Chairman," she said, "I have been allowed to share some recently declassified information that is very important to our discussion today. It will show that we all need to follow the same rules about keeping secrets safe. I would like to share these documents now if it is okay with you." The room became very quiet. Everyone knew that what Karoline had in her folder could change the whole discussion. Chairman Peter Granger gave a small nod, showing that he was ready to let her speak. Karoline slowly opened her folder. Inside, she had papers that were marked declassified, meaning that they were now okay to show to the public. These papers were not about her own actions, but about mistakes made by Congressman Schiff and his committee. The documents had been made available just a few days before, and Karoline had worked hard to get them. "I want to show you something very important," Karoline said, holding up a page from one of the documents. "This is a log from May 2020. It shows that some very important information was moved outside of the approved channels, breaking the rules about how secrets should be handled. The investigation showed that this information was sent to people who should not have received it." As Karoline spoke, People on both sides of the room started to pay closer attention. They leaned forward, whispering among themselves. Everyone knew that what Karoline had just said was serious. Congressman Schiff didn't like this. He quickly interrupted. "We don't know where those documents came from or if they are real. How can we trust these papers?" he asked, trying to stop her. Karoline didn't seem worried. "Mr. Chairman," she said, "these documents are real. They were declassified by the National Security Council, and they are important. Let me show you something else." Karoline flipped through the papers, finding the next one. This document shows that in 2021, there was a leak of classified information from your own committee. It was sent to some reporters, breaking the rules your committee has set for handling secrets. This leak even caused problems for our country's security. Karoline put the document on a projector, and the room became even more quiet. People could now see the information clearly on a big screen. The document had some parts hidden, but it showed the names and dates that proved her point. This was the moment that everyone was waiting for. Congressman Schiff's face turned red, and he gripped the microphone tightly. He didn't know what to say. People were now looking at him, questioning if he was really as careful with secrets as he had said. Karoline didn't stop. She continued to show documents that proved her point. These documents also show that sensitive information from your committee was shared with the media. This caused real damage to the country's safety, and it should not have happened. Karoline looked at Congressman Schiff and said, "I know you want to talk about past mistakes, but we need to focus on making sure that everyone follows the rules, no matter which party they belong to." Some of the people on Schiff's side started talking quietly, and it was clear they were worried. They didn't know how to respond. Meanwhile, the Republicans in the room were paying close attention, impressed with what Karoline was showing them. As Karoline spoke, she made it clear that this wasn't just about political fighting. It was about making sure that everyone, no matter who they were, followed the same rules when it came to keeping the country's secrets safe. The room had changed. What started as a hearing to question Karoline had now become a moment that could change the way Washington thought about her. Karoline had proven she was more than just a young spokesperson. She had done her homework and had the facts to back her up. In the end, Karoline Leavitt had not only defended herself but had also shown everyone that she was smart, prepared, and ready to stand up for what was right. Schiff's helper, the person who helps him with making laws, was writing really fast and sliding notes to him. A young woman named Miss Leavitt was standing in front of everyone. Schiff answered her, now sounding upset and serious. He said, "You are clearly trying to attack me on purpose. You're only showing some of the papers and leaving out the important parts. These papers don't have full details or proof." Miss Leavitt didn't look scared at all. She stayed calm and answered kindly, "Congressman, every paper I'm showing was checked and made public the right way by the officials your own team supports. If you don't believe the papers are real, you can ask the people at the National Security Council. They're the ones who said it was okay to share them." Then she picked up a second paper. "This one from December 2021 is even more serious," she said. "It talks about how secret information was leaked after someone talked about it in a place where they weren't supposed to, like a Congress office. After that, a newspaper wrote about the same secrets." The room got very quiet. Nobody was whispering or typing anymore. Even the people sitting along the walls stopped what they were doing. Then a man named Representative Calvin Dorsey, who works in Congress too, asked, "Just to be clear, these bad things happened while Schiff was the leader of this committee? And the intelligence agencies found out about it, but no one told us or the public." "Yes, that's right," said Miss Leavitt. "These were real checks done by serious professionals, not politicians. They found that there were many mistakes between 2019 and 2022, but no one was held responsible. Actually," she said as she showed a third paper, "some of the leaders in this committee didn't have to follow the same security rules as other people in the government." Schiff looked really mad now. He cut in, "Mr. Chairman, this is not fair. She's showing these papers in a way that makes things sound worse than they are." "With respect, Congressman," Leavitt said firmly, "everything I'm showing has been approved for sharing. These aren't secret anymore. I'm not twisting anything. I'm just letting the intelligence professionals' work speak for itself." The mood in the room was now extremely serious. The leader of the committee, Chairman Granger, tried to calm things down. "We're going to take a 15-minute break," he said. "Everyone, don't talk about this outside the room." As everyone started to leave, reporters quickly typed up short news stories, even though most of the details were still private. What started as Schiff trying to make Leavitt look silly was now becoming something really big, maybe the biggest investigation into intelligence problems since the 1970s. In the hallway outside, people were talking loudly. One lawmaker asked another, "Did you know about these reports?" "No. This is the first time I've heard of any of this," someone answered nervously. Back in the room, Leavitt stayed at the table. She didn't look nervous at all. She calmly read through her papers. Unlike most people who take deep breaths or fidget during breaks, she looked like she was waiting for the perfect moment to bring out even stronger evidence. When the meeting started again after the break, the feeling in the room had changed completely. Before, people had been acting like it was just another political fight. But now, it feels serious. Some Democrats were missing, and more Republicans had shown up to see what was going on. Chairman Granger called everyone back. He spoke very carefully. "The committee has now confirmed that the documents Miss Leavitt showed us are real. We will have another session just to look at everything more deeply." He turned to Schiff. "You have 5 minutes to speak." Schiff walked up to his microphone. Normally he sounded confident, but this time his voice was stiff. "Thank you, Mr. Chairman," he said. "What we're seeing here is just politics. I can't talk about secret stuff in front of the public, but I completely deny any idea that I handled secrets the wrong way." Then his voice got louder. "These papers were picked on purpose and don't tell the whole story. I've always followed the rules and tried to protect our country." Just then, Congresswoman Rachel Denton jumped in. "Point of order, Mr. Chairman. The congressman is attacking the witness instead of answering the information in the papers." Chairman Granger nodded. "Everyone, please focus on the facts." Schiff looked frustrated. "My point is that these papers don't have full explanations. People might think the wrong thing. I've always been careful with secret information," he said, but he didn't talk about any of the specific claims. Then Granger looked back at Leavitt. "Miss Leavitt, do you have anything else?" This was a big moment. Leavitt had already shown very strong proof. Schiff had tried to make it seem like just politics. But now, what she did next would decide if people thought this was just a small fight, or a really serious problem. "Thank you, Mr. Chairman," she said confidently. "I want to speak directly to Congressman Schiff's worry about context." She pulled out one last document. It was much thicker than the others. "This is not about just one mistake," she said. "This is a full report made by the top intelligence leaders. They were asked to do this by the National Security Council. It looks at all the mistakes made with secret information by Congress committees from 2018 to 2022. She placed the report under the projector so everyone could see it. There was a graph showing different committees at the bottom and bars going up to show how many mistakes each made. One bar was much taller than the others. This report shows that Congressman Schiff's committee made 27 mistakes with secret information. That's 3 times more than the next highest committee, she explained. And 14 of those times, the secrets got out to the press in a way that looked planned, not accidental. The report says it looks like they were using secrets to help tell stories to the public in a sneaky way. The room went completely silent again. The picture told a powerful story. Even people who might not understand all the words could see what the graph was saying. Schiff's committee had a lot more problems than any other. Leavitt kept going. She flipped to another page that showed a timeline. This part shows when the leaks happened and matches them with when Congressman Schiff talked to the press. In 11 cases, he said things in public right after secret stuff was leaked. She looked straight at Schiff, whose face had turned very pale. This isn't about one moment taken out of context. This is a pattern, she said. A pattern that the best intelligence officials saw and wrote down. Then she brought out the most serious piece yet. In September 2020, there was a special briefing about foreign influence. Right after that, someone leaked secret information about how we collect signals from other countries. The NSA had to stop an important operation because of the leak. She showed a redacted email. Even though parts were blacked out, people could still read the most important part. The NSA director had written to the Director of National Intelligence, and he was very worried. He even mentioned Schiff by name, saying that secrets kept getting out after his briefings. Everyone knew this was a huge deal. These weren't just papers with opinions. These were facts written by the people who keep the country safe. Chairman Granger spoke carefully again. This is serious. We will need to look at everything more closely. This may lead to a full investigation into how classified information was handled. Schiff, now clearly shaken, made one last attempt to stop it. Mr. Chairman, I ask that these papers be taken down from display until we double-check that they were really cleared to be shown. But Leavitt was ready. Congressman, I have here the signed paper from the Director of National Intelligence, who was chosen by President Biden and approved by a Democratic Senate. Everything was declassified the right way. The American people deserve to know when their trust is broken, no matter which party did it. The mood in the room was completely different now. At first, Schiff had tried to make Leavitt seem young and unimportant. But now, she had shown solid, clear proof that could lead to the biggest intelligence scandal in years. Leavitt showed very strong and clear proof that an important man in Washington, named Adam Schiff, had done something wrong. She used papers and facts that no one could argue with. These facts were not about picking sides in politics. They were just the truth. When the big meeting ended, everyone in the room knew that something big had just happened. One of the most famous people in the Democratic Party was now in big trouble. And it wasn't because someone didn't like him. It was because of what he had done, shown clearly by a smart young woman he didn't think could do it. Reporters sitting in the press area ran to tell the world about what they saw. They knew this day would be remembered in history. People had thought it would be a boring meeting, but instead it became a huge moment, like when the country found out secrets in the Pentagon Papers a long time ago. In just a few hours, the news about Schiff and what he had done was everywhere. TV, websites, and newspapers from both sides of politics talked about it. It was so big that even news stations that usually support Schiff's party talked about it a lot. Fox News wrote, Schiff shared top-secret info many times. CNN was more careful and said, questions raised about how secrets were handled. Even the Washington Post, which had also received some of those secret papers, put a big story on its front page saying that reports showed a big problem when Schiff was in charge. That very night, Speaker Charles Halstead said they would start a special team to look into the problem. This team had people from both political parties, and they were chosen because they cared about the country's safety, not about fighting. Halstead said, "This is bigger than politics. It's about keeping our country safe." The leaders in Schiff's party didn't agree at first. Malcolm Sayer, a top Democrat, said the whole thing was just a trick to make people forget other problems. But after some Democrats read the proof, they changed their minds. The next morning, 7 Democrats, mostly people who had worked in the military or in secret jobs, said they wanted a real and fair investigation, no matter what it might find. Things got worse for Schiff very quickly. Big money people stopped giving money to his campaign for Senate in California. 3 of his top helpers quit in one day. Then the House Ethics Committee said they were going to look into whether he broke any rules or laws by sharing those secrets. Even the people in charge of America's secret information were upset. The head of national intelligence said the reports Leavitt shows were real and serious. They also said they were going to check how secret info is shared with people in Congress. Their message was, Congress can ask questions about secrets, but they have to handle those secrets carefully. They said Schiff might have broken that trust. Many people talked about how smart and calm Karoline Leavitt was when she showed all the papers and facts. Even people from both parties said she did an amazing job. One former White House worker said on TV, she didn't just get lucky. She worked really hard, had everything planned, and stayed calm the whole time. She knew this would shake things up. People on conservative news called Leavitt a hero very quickly. Her followers on social media jumped by more than 500,000 in 2 days. Many groups asked her to come speak. Even Donald Trump called her a brave patriot and said she had proved what he had always believed about how secrets were used badly. But Leavitt didn't brag. She didn't make fun of Schiff. She didn't say bad things about any party. She only gave one message through a press note, not on TV. She said, "This isn't about politics. It's about doing the right thing. If people who know our country's secrets use them to help themselves, they break trust with the people, no matter what party they're in." She hoped this would help Congress treat secrets more carefully in the future. After a few weeks, other big changes happened in Washington. Committees that dealt with secret info started using stricter rules. Some people who had not handled secrets well before quietly left those committees to avoid being questioned. And for the first time, some lawmakers from both parties made a new law to protect people who tell the truth about secret info being used wrongly, especially by elected leaders. Before, those truth-tellers weren't always protected. 3 months after the big hearing, the special team finished their report. They said Leavitt was right about what she showed. They even added more details and gave advice on how to fix things. The report passed with votes from both sides. 11 said yes, only 2 said no. They said Schiff had shared some secrets on purpose to make certain stories sound better. But doing that put secret sources and methods at risk. Schiff didn't get charged with a crime because Congress members are protected for what they say in meetings. But his reputation was badly hurt. He stopped running for Senate when polls showed people didn't want to vote for him anymore. Also, most committees didn't want him working with secret info again. 6 months after that big day, Karoline Leavitt got a new job. She became the communication boss for a top person running for president. She was now one of the youngest people ever in that kind of job, only 27 years old. People from all over said Leavitt had shown amazing talent. In a magazine story called Washington's New Generation, Time said this moment was about more than just politics. It showed how older leaders sometimes ignore young people and think they can't do much. But Leavitt proved that doing your homework and being ready can make even powerful people answer for their actions. The story ended with a quote from someone in the intelligence community. They said, "If Schiff hadn't tried to make fun of Miss Leavitt that day, she might not have shared all this. But because he did, she showed the world what he had done." It's a lesson that being full of yourself can lead to trouble, and young people who work hard can really make a difference. After that, Congress started acting more serious in their meetings. They knew that trying to show off or pick on someone younger might not end well. The time when young workers were treated as easy targets was over. That was the lesson from the day Adam Schiff tried to make fun of Karoline Leavitt, and she surprised him with the truth. If you liked this story, tell me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more fun adventures and mysteries. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.